Four drivers are deducted 10 points each, a month since the taxi driver offense points ordinance took effect. Cathay Pacific buys over 100 Airbus planes. And President Xi Jinping arrives in Russia for the BRICS summit. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. Four drivers have been deducted 10 points each, a month since the taxi driver offense points ordinance came into effect. They were involved in malpractices, including overcharging and refusing passengers. With the introduction of a new taxi fleet system next year, Chief Executive John Lee believes the situation will improve. The taxi driver offense points ordinance came into force on the 22nd of last month, a measure that aims to improve the quality of taxi services. Earlier today, Chief Executive John Lee revealed four taxi drivers have each been deducted 10 points over the past month for overcharging on taxi fares and refusing passengers. According to the mechanism, drivers who have been deducted 10 points or above within any 2 years must complete and pay for a mandatory driving improvement course within a designated time. Failure to comply would result in a penalty fee of $5,000 and 1 month in prison. The CE believes such cases involve only a minority of drivers.
The law has come into effect. Actions have been taken. We announce results, so there is a deterrence effect. I believe that with the vigorous effort taken by law enforcement agencies, we will see some results. We encourage people who have gone through unpleasant experience to make a report to us.
Some residents share their views on whether the quality of taxi drivers has improved. This student says some drivers used to get angry at her for taking rides to nearby places, but things have improved over the past month. While this man said the drivers' attitudes have improved and that there should be mutual respect between driver and passenger. Meanwhile, Chow Kwok-keung, the former head of a taxi and minibus association, said the ordinance is working better than expected. He noted that he has yet to hear complaints from the taxi sector and that many passengers noticed an improvement in the attitude of drivers. Regarding the government's consideration to install CCTV cameras inside taxis, Chow hopes the government will subsidize half their cost, given each camera costs between $4,000 and $5,000. Authorities began enforcing the new regulations for disposable plastic products today after the end of the 6-month grace period, but some shops could still be found providing plastic straws. In Mongkok, at least one bubble tea shop was still offering plastic straws. Under the first phase of the measures, restaurants could still provide plastic boxes and bowls for takeaway options, while other single-use plastic items are banned. Offenders will initially be given a written warning and a 10-day grace period. They will be given a minimum fine of $2,000 if they fail to comply. Cathay Pacific Airways has purchased 150 aircraft from Airbus in Europe. Cathay's chief executive officer says the company expects to fly to 100 destinations by 2025. Mo Sinai reports.
Cathay Pacific had earlier announced its $100 billion investment plan for the next 7 years. To expand its fleet, the airline ordered 150 new generation aircraft from Airbus. Speaking at the ceremony on Tuesday, Cathay's chief executive officer Ronald Lam said the new aircraft include Airbus A321neo and A320neo. He said the company will expand its network to cover more destinations for passengers.
This is a testimony to our confidence about the future of Hong Kong and the future of Hong Kong as an international aviation hub. By end of this year, we would have launched 15 new destinations across Cathay Pacific, 6 of them, and then across HK Express, 9 new destinations. We project that by 2025, we will hit 100 destinations.
Acting Financial Secretary Michael Wong, who was at the event, said the fleet expansion is important to the city's aviation status. A press conference was held after the ceremony. When asked about U.S. rival Boeing being plagued by a series of mishaps, Airbus said it would not necessarily create new opportunities for the European company.
This industry is a competitive industry. Competition is good, and so when one competitor is down, it's not good for any one of them.
Meanwhile, Scherer said Airbus welcomes China entering the aerospace sector with the country's development of its C919 aircraft. He added the market should be big enough to feed all of the competitors. News 9, TVB News.
The Census and Statistics Department today released the city's Consumer Price Index, or CPI, for September 2024. Hong Kong's overall CPI rose by 2.2% in September compared with the same month last year. The rise is lower than the 2.4% figure for August. Ignoring the government's one-off relief measures, the year-on-year rate of increase in the composite CPI, or underlying inflation rate, in September was 0.9%. This is smaller than August's rise of 1.2%. The narrower rises are owing to the higher base of comparison resulting from the significant increases in food prices in September 2023. Police arrested 2 mainlanders on suspicion of attempted burglary in Tai Po on Monday. 2 burglary cases occurred in the same housing estate over the past 2 days. The first one involved former Police Commissioner Andy Zhang. Police officers conducted a search at Hong Lok Yun in Tai Po on Tuesday afternoon. The home of former Police Commissioner Andy Zhang was robbed on Sunday night, involving belongings worth about $100,000. Police said a 29-year-old man filed another burglary report on Monday night. The man said he lost 3 watches worth a total of $290,000. Security personnel from another housing estate in the area, the Wonderland, called the police and said they spotted suspicious people. Officers later arrested 2 male suspects after finding them hiding behind a motorbike. The force is now investigating if the 2 cases are related. President Xi Jinping has arrived in Kazan to attend the 16th BRICS Annual Summit at the invitation of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Danny Zhou reports.
Escorted by Russian fighter jets, President Xi Jinping's flight landed in Kazan, capital city of Russia's Republic of Tatarstan, this afternoon. He will deliver a key speech at the summit and exchange views with other leaders on major global and regional issues. A bilateral meeting between Xi and Putin is expected to take place. This year's BRICS summit is the first after its expansion in January, with Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates newly added to the group. Great excitement among the crowds in the Kazan streets as the local Chinese community welcomed President Xi Jinping by waving the Chinese national flags. Zhong Xianglong, president of the Chinese Association in Kazan, said he was eager to share with President Xi details of their lives here, adding they were thrilled to witness the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the Chinese-Russian diplomatic relations. Mr. Xie, head of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Russia's Volga Federal District, called Xi's visit very timely, and he hopes it would bring in more investment from Chinese companies. Russia, which holds the BRICS presidency this year, said the summit's agenda will underscore politics and security, the economy and finance, and cultural and humanitarian ties. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Still ahead, Chief Executive John Lee speaks to TVB News on his policy address. TVB News reports on an international delegation's visit to Shandong. Welcome back. After Chief Executive John Lee delivered his 3rd policy address last Wednesday, he has been spending the past week explaining the various news measures to the public. In his interview with TVB Straight Talk, he shared why he feels confident Hong Kong's economy will recover and the thinking behind his main strategies. The title of Chief Executive John Lee's latest policy address is Reform for Enhancing Development and Building Our Future Together. Speaking on TVB's Straight Talk program, Lee said with the city's security confirmed, Hong Kong can go all out and strive for prosperity. But reform is needed, as some sectors are facing structural changes.
Reform is not for reform's sake. It's for creating better governance and creating results. I think that these are the most important things. So we have to then examine what are the things that we are doing well, what are the things we're doing not so well, and where are the areas that we should have acted but have not, and where the threats are which will be counterproductive.
Right.
what we call the SWOT analysis: strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. All leaders do this. I have been doing this regularly, reflection for improvement.
Though some sectors are currently facing difficulties, the chief executive said the city has the strong support of the central government and will overcome the challenges, with an expected economic growth of up to 3.5%.
Well, in fact, 2.5 to 3.5% growth, I think, is quite a balanced assessment. I'm more positive thinking because, in a way, I'm an insider. I know what new measures the central government will be rolling out.
Right.
I know what are the things that I have requested for. And if some of them become really roll-outable, then the additional impetus will be quite big. For example, I have said that we hope to invite more visitors from Shenzhen, from other parts of GBA. And I'm very grateful for central governments to look at my suggestion so sincerely.
Lee said under one country, two systems, Hong Kong is the only city in the world that enjoys both China's advantage and also the world's advantage. Shandong in eastern China has an illustrious history. It is the birthplace of Confucius, whose philosophy forms an important part of Chinese culture. The province is also home to top companies in sectors as diverse as beer and pharmaceuticals. In our series Shandong from Ancient Culture to the Future, TVB News reports on aspects of the province alongside a delegation of international diplomats and business chambers visiting Shandong, led by the Commissioner's Office of China's Foreign Ministry in Hong Kong. That's in a bid to promote international investment to the eastern Chinese province via Hong Kong. Jackie Lin reports from Shandong.
To enable the international community to better understand the various aspects of Shandong, the Commissioner's Office of China's Foreign Ministry in Hong Kong led an international delegation to depart for the eastern Chinese province from Hong Kong on Monday. The 52-member group comprises representatives of 11 consulates general, including the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, South Korea, and Thailand. Also taking part are members of 9 foreign chambers of commerce in Hong Kong, including Canada, Switzerland, and Singapore, as well as financial institutions and conglomerates. The delegation will visit key enterprises in Shandong, such as the Qingdao Beer Group and pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, sure. So we can look at possible opportunities to see if we can get some product for the TCM medicines that we provide over in Hong Kong, and look to see how we can partner together.
The group will also visit Shandong Free Trade Pilot Zone and the province's Shanghai Cooperation Organization Local Economic and Trade Cooperation Demonstration Zone, alongside meetings with local officials. Cui Jianchun, Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Hong Kong, said Hong Kong as a superconnector is very important to buoy the growth of mainland provinces and cities in terms of drawing investment to consolidate and upgrade their financial and business infrastructure. Apart from Shandong's capital city, Jinan, the delegation will visit 6 cities in total in this trip. They include Qingdao and Yantai. Jackie Lin, TVB News, Shandong.
Beijing's foreign ministry confirmed China and India have reached a solution over border issues. The Indian government said earlier that it struck a deal with China on army patrolling arrangements along the line of actual control in the Himalayan border. Danny Zhou has the story.
The Indian Ministry of External Affairs said that a deal was reached between India and China on patrolling the Himalayan frontier, putting an end to their 4-year border skirmishes. In 2020, the two neighboring countries' militaries clashed in Ladakh in the disputed Kashmir region, leaving 20 Indian and 4 Chinese soldiers dead. It led to a long-running standoff as both sides have deployed tens of thousands of new troops and military equipment to the rugged highlands. In recent months, the two countries have engaged in close communication through diplomatic and military channels. It was reported that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi could talk with President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. A spokesman for the Foreign Ministry in Beijing praised the agreement, adding China will continue to work with the Indian side to reach a solution over the border issue. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
A yes vote, which paves the way for Moldova to change its constitution and move toward EU integration, passed. The referendum was so close, the president is blaming criminals and foreign forces for undermining democracy. Pro-European leader Maia Sandu called it an attack on freedom after claiming victory, but with only a 50.5 majority. Sandu claimed people sold their votes. She also faced a runoff after winning 42% in the presidential election and failing to get an outright majority. No specific country was named by Moldova, but the EU say there have been intimidation by Russia and its proxies. The Kremlin denies involvement. And that's the news. Thanks for watching.